Think they're just about ready to go. Yep, and they're off. We'll get it synced up in a bit here, I'm sure.
No, we'll just leave them like 6 seconds apart for the whole thing. Hope that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike is German. As far as I know.
Yeah, he is.
I feel like a lot of the players, the German players that we have here, are like, you know, they don't sleep. Or they stay on like a North American schedule.
Yeah, I remember when Timon was playing this game regularly, he would be awake at odd hours for German time.
Yeah, Dark Mind Demon is another one.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, it's nice if when you're super involved in the speedrun community to be awake and participating when the majority North American people are awake.
Yeah, that's true.
So, this first part of the game, they're gonna go rescue Zelda from the dungeons of Hyrule Castle. This section of the game is pretty simple. You're unlikely to see more than a few seconds of variance between the two. Just not a whole lot can go wrong. ACM has already lost a full heart, though, and that can actually be kind of dangerous, because they have to fight the Ball and Chain Trooper to rescue Zelda. And he deals a full heart of damage if you get hit by him. So, ACM can only afford to take one hit. A second hit will kill him at his current health.
Nobody wants to die in Escape.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing. And
a big
actually
time loss.
it loses a bunch of time too, so... I'll be going for a nice poke spin on this guard, and they'll be grabbing the boomerang, which is one of only a few optional items we get in the run. Turns out it's just a little faster to grab it.
Yeah, it makes a few rooms and a few strategies a little bit faster. If you've ever watched a low percent run, they do not grab the boomerang. And it's one of those items where if you play NMG, you don't really realize how much you use the boomerang and how much you value the boomerang until you don't have it in low percent. So, yeah, small item, but it's a good item. They both grab the big key at the same time here, it looks like.
It's like Mike's a little bit behind.
Maybe they were about a second apart, but yeah, very close still.
Yeah.
Not that it matters at this point. But,
Yeah.
But you know.
So here they're just gonna be escaping the castle with Zelda using just small movement optimizations, which this game is very famous for all of its little micro optimizations that really make it fun to play at a high level. One of them is stair-like here. You'll see they turn left coming out of those stairs. It saves about 8 frames, I think. If you walk down out of those stairs, is your first input, Link does this little stutter that we call stair lag. And that adds up, actually, if you consider all the times you come into a room from stairs.
Yeah, and it's just a simple thing that you can do to save a little bit of time, and it, like Josh said, it adds up over the run, so yeah, it's not like a difficult optimization to do.
Yeah. You'll see him do it again here at this staircase coming into the snake room. Snake room also has a lot of annoying RNGs to deal with. Sometimes the snakes get in your way. It's like they both had to use an item. Ideally, you can walk through it without having to use anything, but sometimes the snake pattern gives you no choice, really.
Yeah, sometimes the room is nice, but most of the time, not so much. And here's the one part of escape where pumping actually matters, and it's in these 2 water rooms. Look at all the time they're saving. Whoa.
Yeah, in these rooms they're holding left and mashing their D-pad up. It's quite a bit faster.
Seattle rat.
Yeah. You hate to see that.
Do you hate Seattle, Josh?
No, I don't hate Seattle. I just hate the rat who's from Seattle.
Who are you calling a rat? Waffle's from Seattle, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Well, I don't think he's from there, but he lives there now.
I see.
My next opponent in this tournament is also from Seattle, or lives in Seattle now.
Oh, and Walrus Prime. I can't say Walrus today.
Walrus
Prime.
Yeah, he's a Washington guy too.
Yeah, careful.
So both of them grabbing the Sanctuary Heart. I had this conversation with ACM before, and he says he'll never drop it, no matter what.
Smart guy.
Yeah. But yeah, this is 3 seconds, but it's 3 seconds for an extra heart container, and this game's pretty dang brutal. So that's a fair trade for most players.
Yeah, you might think 3 seconds. What the heck? That doesn't matter. Or 1 extra heart container, not a big deal. But it actually is a big deal. It gives you an extra hit on quite a few bosses, and it can really save your butt in bad times. So, may only be 1 extra heart container, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, my current PB, a 124.44, would have died without it, actually. I got down to 1 heart in Skullwoods.
I died with it, so.
Yeah, that can happen too, unfortunately.
If you're bad like me.
I've died with it plenty of times too.
Alright, now we're in Eastern Palace. Not too exciting, but, you know. A few rooms, I guess, can be pretty interesting. There's one coming up. It's a skeleton room. You want to make it so that you only spawn 2 skeletons and you kill them before they even spawn. ACM pulling it off, and same with Mike. Doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's an interesting room. Normally 4 is supposed to spawn, but if you walk in a particular way, you can get 2 to spawn only. That's pretty neat.
Both of them grabbing the safety arrows here, which is a bit of a... Well, I mean, it depends how you look at it, really, because it is a gamble to skip those arrows. You're banking on grabbing or getting a drop later on in the dungeon, but I think it's a 1 in 8 chance to get that drop, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So really, by grabbing those arrows, like, yeah, it takes a few extra seconds, but you could be saving yourself a lot more time by grabbing them and not skipping them. Because if you don't get that drop at the end, then you've actually wasted more time grabbing extra arrows at the end of the dungeon than you would in that particular spot.
I also just did a neat trick in that room to get the big key, using a damage boost to get to that pot, to hit the switch under it to spawn the chest. That's definitely not the intended solution to the room. You're supposed to kill all the enemies, in which case the anti-fairies will come off the pot, allowing you to access it.
Hope we got them going opposite sides.
Whoa.
Whoa. There's really, I don't think there's any real difference between the 2 sides. I guess it's just depending where the enemies are.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay, we're good now.
ACM accidentally did that room too quickly, and when he lifted the bottom left pot, the anti-fairy hit him. There are a few rooms like that in this game where you can do it too fast, and the game will punish you for that. It can be pretty frustrating.
Very nice red Igors from both. Oh! Nice save. Mike actually accidentally fired an arrow to the left into the wall, but was able to look down and start shooting just in time and got the kill.
Yeah, a lot of the times firing left is kind of a death sentence on your Armos fight, but he was able to recover that really nicely. So here's where the game gets really fun and a lot harder. They're going to go collect their boots, which is going to be the primary movement from here on. Dashing is much, much faster than walking. Link walks at a 1.5 pixel per frame speed, and he dashes 4 pixels per frame. So yeah, we're going to be dashing a lot. And dash movement's pretty hard to do. It's hard to execute dash routes well. And you really get an example of it straight away on the overworld. You also see spin speed here out of ACM. But he doesn't get it. Mike can potentially make up some time. We also saw Mike getting Sahasrara rupees.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see a little bit of a difference here in routing. Not here, but later. Where Mike has already got his 100 rupees, and ACM's going to have to grab them in the forest after Hera is going to be doing what we call tree rupees, which, you know, we can go over when we get there. But yeah, just slightly different. Tree rupees is slightly faster, but it's definitely not faster if you get hit and have to do a backup for tree rupees. It can be slower. Also interesting that Mike did not grab the bombs in Sahasrara's hut, he only grabbed the rupees. And ACM not going for any of the spin speeds there. I think he doesn't go for any extra spin speeds, I guess we can call them, other than the ones on Death Mountain and I don't even know what other ones he goes for, the one after Sahasrara.
Yeah, I think those are the only two he goes for, yeah. He really doesn't like the spin speed trick much, so generally he shies away from using them. So the dash routing in this game can almost be considered like just a sequence of frame-perfect tricks, and like being a little off on your dashes can often lose a lot of time. You want to carry them as far as possible, but you also don't want to bonk or anything like that, or nudge really hard,
or even readjust to get a better dash. Can lose you time. So yeah. It definitely takes a lot of time to get most of the dash movement down. And even still, everyone messes it up.
Yeah, that's definitely a true statement. Both of them are going to be headed over to the big key. There's some little bit of RNG in the room with the big key. These cannonballs can sometimes block your dash on the way up. ACM gets good RNG and just gets to dash all the way up. Mike does as well.
Yeah, And he used a pause buffer there so you could check to see what the cannonballs were doing, if he had to stop his dash or if he could keep going. And he saw that he had enough room to get through, so he kept going. Didn't have to readjust.
Yeah, it's a pretty smart buffer if you're not doing the Desert 2 spin speed, which I don't think either of these players will go for.
Yeah, we saw Mike grab a backup rupee there, and that's just because once he gets his 6 rupees in Aghanim's tower, he still would not have had enough to get into Palace of Darkness, which is what he needs all these rupees for. He needs 110, so the 102 plus 6 would not have been enough. So we grabbed an extra pot there instead of trying to rely on a drop somewhere.
Yeah, and the screen Mike is on right now is a screen you can use the spin speed on coming off the stairs. It saves about 2/3 of a second. Can be quite risky though. If you touch a ledge at all while spin speeding, Link will jump it immediately. And there are some jumpable ledges like right next to you, and it's hard to control the super speed in a way where you don't touch the ledge. ACM lighting the torches. He'll be facing Landmo.
Mike missing his first torch there, but does an okay job of getting it the second time.
You'll see our runners bonk that top wall to get in a good position to fight the Landmo in this first cycle. It's like ACM has had a tough fight. Allowed Mike to basically catch up with him. We are just almost synced. Maybe Mike's a half second behind. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, wow. Bit of a difference in strategy here leaving Desert. They are basically the same amount of time. Maybe one's like a little bit faster, but
yeah,
really not enough to make a big difference.
Both players are going to be headed towards the fake flippers trick. They will slash a bush and hold diagonal to get right on the edge of the screen. And wow, Mike having a lot of trouble with
that was fast fake flippers though.
Yeah, that was really nice fake flippers. Oh, he needs to be careful. Hopefully he didn't get hit in the transition. Okay. Whew.
I don't know if you're a little bit behind or not, but...
Oh. You can sometimes get hit while the transition is happening, and you won't even notice it until you get, like, on the pawn screen. But yeah, getting hit there is bad, because the game will run its check for flippers, and it won't really know where to put you, because it'll realize you don't have them. It'll try to send you back to land where you jumped in, except you didn't jump in on that screen. So, in the game's confused state, you were pretty much soft-locked, with no way to continue.
You see, I'm missing the spin speed, so decides to abandon it right away. Not a bad call. Mike also has to be careful here. He only has 2 hearts coming up Death Mountain. Looks like he's gonna be okay though. But still entering here with only 2 hearts is not great.
No, it is not. In this dungeon, they'll be using a neat use of the mirror that I was unaware of as a kid, actually. It brings you back to the beginning of the dungeon, which is pretty nice. Cleans up a lot of backtracking that would otherwise be there. Also, Mike in pretty bad trouble.
Yeah, getting hit again only with one heart. If he gets hit by any of these tiles, he will die. Shouldn't happen, knock on wood, but it's definitely not impossible.
Interestingly, both of these players do a strategy in this room that no one else goes for. They go for the early tile kill. The door will open as soon as the last tile is dead. So they try to kill it early, which can happen randomly. Neither of them got it, unfortunately. But you can, like, kill it right as it comes out of the ground if you win a 1 in 4 frame rule on that pot throw.
Mike was making me so nervous.
Yeah.
In the tile room, in the next room. I was afraid he was going to get hit.
You see him doing the patented ACM beetles.
Yep, and Mike going for a harder strat, but a faster strat. Where you kill a beetle and, well, I guess you knock a beetle down and hit the switch in the same sword slash. Pretty cool trick to see, but definitely not easy to do consistently. Mike has to be careful here in the petting zoo, and he's definitely going to take that safe. Good call. Grabbing the extra heart.
That was really smart played from him. Uses the newer spin bomb jump tech. Do it across the moon pearl. That bomb jump only saves like 15 seconds or something.
Ooh, a brodongo. Dropping a heart for Mike. The rare brodongo. Oh, and he also got the safety switch, which is a good call for sure.
Yeah, in a race like this, definitely.
ACM's having a nice Moldorm fight here. Oops, missed that last hit. There we go. Nice. Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay, I thought Mike was off the edge there, but he's good. Nice last
spin.
hit.
Yeah, that was a really nice last hit. And that's exactly what you want to do if in the last phase Moldorm gets sort of stuck going back and forth on the left side of that middle hole, is to just try to go for a spin attack. It's safe and surprisingly effective. If you walk over to the left side of the middle hole and actually try to deal with him normally, you're gonna have a bad time. Trust me. I've been there.
But what if I do that and I don't have a bad time?
Well,
I guess I can't trust you.
I guess you got lucky.
Maybe. So ACM pulling the first of 2 trees, getting blue rupees. The requirement for that is just to kill 4 enemies or more, which obviously at this point you have. His second tree pull, which will be after he grabs the Master Sword, will require him to kill 4 more enemies without taking any damage. And then he'll get red rupees, and 4 of them, they're 20 each, so 4 of them would equal 80, which would give him 106 rupees, which is a good number.
Yes, indeed.
And ACM, we've mentioned this before, but he's got a pretty swag strat for grabbing the red rupees, where he throws the boomerang early, and then by the time he gets down to the tree and pulls it, the boomerang comes to him and grabs rupees along the way. So you'll see that from ACM.
Yeah, it's a neat strategy for sure.
Definitely something you don't see from anybody but ACM, I think.
Yeah, most players, and you'll see this out of Mike, Ooh, ACM got a bush guard there. You gotta really be wary of bush guards, because like we said, you can't take damage where, until after you've pulled that tree for those red rupees. But yeah, like we see on Mike's screen, he will be using the bow in Aghanim's tower to speed up some rooms. ACM forgoes those strats. He just doesn't find them consistent or easy to pull off. So he goes for some more basic and easy strategies.
Yeah, so we'll see ACM here serving up Din Din. All you have to do is just wait for the guards to, or wait for their feet to touch, I guess, and then spin them. Mike is doing what we call Pooey Strat, where you use arrows and beams in order to, or spins, I guess, not beams, in order to kill those gold knights.
Of course, ACM with the boomerang gets to use it in the Dark Maze room, which is sometimes quite beneficial, as you saw there.
Yeah, if you have beams at this point, you don't want to slash in the Dark Maze because it wakes everybody up, and then everybody's coming at you. It makes the room laggy and also a little bit dangerous. Also, ACM using the boomerang to grab the key from the arrow key guard. And they're both exiting the room at the same time.
Yeah, and that's where you really got to see the advantage of Mike's bow strategy and red spears. He was able to just really optimize that room to a few seconds faster than what ACM was capable of. And that's sort of, yeah, I guess, the problem with ACM's conservative strategies is they can be nice and consistent, and he doesn't mess them up often, but when his opponent does the riskier strategy and gets it, they can save some seconds over him in races like this. Wow, this is oh, this is a close one.
Yeah, these two are very, very close.
Wow. It's almost synced. We'll see what Aghanim has to say about the runs, though.
Yeah.
So this first attack is always going to be an energy ball, which you can hit right back at Aghanim. You need to hit Aghanim with 6 energy attacks to end the fight. They both get a blue ball.
Wow.
These next 3 attacks are 50-50 between an energy attack and a blue ball. ACM getting his second. Mike's still on 1. Alright. And then the cycle ends with this lightning attack, which always goes the same way every time. You see them both grabbing the top wall, which, for whatever reason, saves some lag frames during the lightning attack. Then the cycle repeats. Mike getting his second blue ball, so now they're even.
Mike seems to be getting better warps, possibly, because he's like almost... Yeah, he's ahead. Wow!
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They both got 2 blue balls.
Yeah, both getting 2. That's pretty nice. Mike got ahead because of better warps. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the key to the Aghanim fight, I guess, is to get on a side of him so that you knock him back into the middle, or at least as close to the middle as you can. So if he spawns like more to like the left side of the room, then you want to get on his left side so you knock him back into the middle. And that's just to reduce the amount of, I guess, space he has to like move around. Like if you're knocking him into the middle and he's gonna go to the right, he has less to travel than if he was on the left side of the room going all the way to the right, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit of an optimization in that fight.
Yeah, it's really the only way to optimize the fight, beyond reducing lag in the lightning phases.
I don't believe that Mike has gotten a PB since the new Meyer tech.
Yeah, I don't think he has either. I'll be interested to see if he's learned it, actually. I forgot to ask him before the race. I'm not sure if he has or not. I know that ACM has, though, and we'll definitely be seeing it out of N. Mike with a very slight lead.
ACM has a lot of arrows too, we should point that out. Mike has 9 and ACM has 19.
Yeah, that's quite the discrepancy.
Yes. I guess whoever comes out of this dungeon first could come down to a few things, like how well the hammer jump goes, little bits of RNG like we just saw there with that jelly. The jelly got in ACM's way, but was not in the way of Mike, so Mike had a faster time getting down the pit. Helmosaur is also a big RNG factor in this dungeon. If he's throwing out a lot of fireballs, if he's charging you, whatever, it can create lag, and depending on how you handle it, could go faster or slower. Turtle Room is another one where things could go awry.
ACM actually has a ridiculous amount of arrows.
Yeah, like being at almost
Yeah.
30 arrows here is crazy.
Both runners headed towards the hammer jump. This can be a big game changer if one of them fails it or uses a lot of buffers. They're going to need to plant the bomb on a specific Y coordinate and then move Link up exactly 8 pixels to get boosted across with the correct position to clip through that rail and walk up to the hammer chest. They both did it excellently. It's a pretty hard trick, so really
Yeah, very
good play
nice.
from them.
Yeah, very nice from both of them. Next up, I guess we have Mimics. And I'm not really sure what strategies either of these guys go for. But that can also be a bit of a difference. If they do different strategies, there's some that are slightly slower. So that could definitely change things up a little bit. Oh boy.
Mike with the sexy statue. Mike going a little faster in Mimics. That was impressive. ACM again using a safer strategy. ACM has 28 arrows. He does not have to touch an arrow pot in the Dark World.
Yeah, the game was like, oh, ACM, here's what you need, more arrows. And gave him more arrows.
Yeah, that's something.
Ooh, Mike having an unfortunate turtle room.
Yeah.
RNG was not the best.
That's
and ACM had better RNG. You were gonna say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's pure luck. Unfortunately, Mike just lost the RNG roll there.
little difference in the fight here as well. ACM is holding a sword out while he's hitting the helmet with the hammer. That extends the hammer's hitbox and is also a little bit safer, but it does create more lag. And then using 3 hammer hits in the last phase, ACM does it very well. Mike had a little bit of trouble, but makes it through. Grabbing the spikes for some support. Just what you always want to do.
Yeah, unfortunately the difference from Mike there was the bad turtle room, which was completely random. And then it had kind of a rough Helmosaur, didn't execute it as well as he'd have liked to, for sure. Missed a hammer in the first phase, and then missed getting the quick kill in the second phase as well.
Yeah, another interesting thing is that, like you said, ACM doesn't have to worry about arrows at all, but Mike will have to worry about arrows.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to pick up some pots and things like that, which may buy ACM a little bit of time.
Yeah, but fortunately in this game, we know for certain what's under every pot. It's not random at all. It's always 100% of the time the same things. And we've routed it out so we know which pots have what and which ones are quickest. So Mike will need to get 20 arrows somehow. And even if he has to get them from pots, he'll only lose like a couple seconds doing so. Just because we know the fastest ones and they're not really that out of the way. But he can also get a lucky drop and potentially save having to get one of the pots.
Alright, so ACM is going to grab his shovel and then his flute. Mike very close behind, doing the same thing. There is a quick warp here. Not sure if either of them are going to go for it or if they care about it at all. ACM does not.
Mike has a unique setup here where he's going to try to dash into it. Didn't get it though.
Like got it now. Single dig for both. Good job.
ACM not going for the Usain Bolt. Ooh, almost got hit too. The spin speed's really nice, saves the second half, and also makes getting by that guard pretty trivial when you're in spin speed. But like we've been saying, ACM is uncomfortable with spin speed, he really doesn't like it. Only does the ones that save multiple seconds. So...
yeah, the way that ACM did it is, you know, if you're also not comfortable with spin speed or you're just learning this game, it's a pretty good alternative. It's really not, like, a ton slower, like Josh had said, and it is safe, for sure. Just do a little wiggle, and then dash right past that. Usain Bolt, the red guard.
So Emma mentioned quick warping. That's a mechanic where if you warp between the light and dark worlds on certain horizontal coordinates, the warp animation is sped up by a little over half a second. So you saw them at that warp. They intentionally like kind of circled around to the left side of it, just because that's where the quick warp is. So it seems a bit counterintuitive for them to loop around to the other side of it like that, but that's why they're doing that. Is so they can hit the quick warp.
Yeah, and there's a few quote-unquote free ones that you can go for.
Yeah.
Which really just require you to enter the warp on a certain side. Like the one we just saw. There's a few more up on Death Mountain when you're going to Hera. There's one.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to learn more about quick warps, Greenham actually went over all the quote-unquote free quick warps right before the tournament. He did a few knowledge streams, And one thing he went over was those free quick warps. Quote unquote free quick warps.
Some of them actually are free, where you're just like mirroring right out of a dungeon. Like there's, all you have to do is know it, and boom, you can get it every time. But yeah.
Ooh, ACM's having a rough hellway here. So is Mike. Look at all these enemies just hanging out near the spike.
Yeah.
Yeah, but both made it through okay.
Just really solid play from both of these players. You can tell they have 125 PBs.
Yeah, for sure. And I say this all the time about ACM every time he races, but man, when he opens that menu, it's like it doesn't even fully come down before he has his item and it's going back up. It's just so fast.
He's really great at menuing.
Ooh, Mike taking a hit there from that red horse head. Doing 2 hearts of damage. It's really not a big deal in this dungeon to take damage. You don't want to take a lot of damage for sure, but the boss here is not difficult for players of this level. It is a scripted fight. Hashtag scripted. And so ideally the fight should go the same time every time.
Yeah, they're gonna do a little setup here entering the fight where they will stand behind Blind and just poke him 3 times. And ordinarily, if you let Blind just rise to the top of the room normally, you won't be able to stand behind him safely, but with that setup you'll be able to. And then from there, his movements are completely predictable. ACM had kind of a hiccup in that fight. Didn't get it to go as well as it could have. Mike had essentially a perfect fight.
Should let people know that ACM is a robot and he can type perfectly while speedrunning somehow. And nobody knows his secret, so... I think he's had many years of practice.
Yeah, he's one of the players who's never used a mic, so he just communicates to his stream viewers through typing. He's able to do it very well. I find it difficult to play this game and type. I don't feel like the screen transitions are much of a break for typing, but I'm also a very slow typist.
Yeah. But I even have trouble. I'm a faster typer than you, so... Ooh, ACM getting the lucky bush bomb. I think is that a 50-50 bush?
Yeah, that's a 50% chance.
Yeah, so yeah, got an extra bomb. For I don't know what for, but Alright, so now we're off to get the tempered sword. We're gonna take this frog back. He's gonna turn into a blacksmith. And he's gonna give us a sword. Tempered sword.
Yeah. ACM does a little bit of a safe strategy here where he avoids doing the mirror in the doorway. And you'll see here.
Yeah.
Whereas Mike will almost certainly go for the mirror in the doorway. I would say the mirror in the doorway is pretty safe, but it can go wrong. Like, if you mirror bonk, you lose 8 or 9 seconds, so that's pretty costly.
Yeah. Just a question from chat. The Tempered Sword is not required. You can finish the game with just the Master Sword, but it is much more difficult, and the Ganon fight becomes slower because you have to spin Ganon 52 times in total. It takes 24 at the end of, like, in the last phase. And so you have to manage your magic as well as getting your spins in. So not required, but it is faster to get the Tempered Sword.
Yeah, I believe the low percent world record actually enters the Ganon fight before the NMG world record does. But then promptly loses all that time in the Ganon fight.
Yeah, you can't slash Ganon at all with the Master Sword, so you have to spin. And I think that means that you can't get like a 1-in-1. Like you have to. I haven't done low percent in so long, I don't remember. But one of the things that makes the Ganon fight go quickly is if you get 1 cycle in the first phase, 1 cycle in the second phase. And I don't believe you can do that with the Master Sword because you're spinning the entire time. You can't slash at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're gonna get silver arrows, just get gold sword. Have it. There's really no point in just getting one or the other. But I believe that, and you can correct me, Josh, if I'm wrong, but I think I heard that gold sword would actually be faster if we didn't have torch glitch and if like people didn't get the 1-in-1.
Yeah, possibly, I think. I think the fight's still faster without torch glitch with the Tempered Sword, but maybe if you couldn't also get 1-in-1, it would, gold sword and silver arrows would be better.
Mike just had a rough mummy statue room compared to ACM, so ACM was able to pull ahead. I think that was the main difference. That's what I saw anyway.
Mike ended up having to pull the boomerang, which wasn't a bad decision in a big race like this. Just go ahead and take it really safe and make sure he got through the room with minimal damage. ACM, okay. He did manage to clean up Moth there.
3 spikes missing, so 7 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice fight from Mike. 8 out of 10, only 2 spikes missing.
Yeah.
Mike's also pulling out the mirror here, which is another like small optimization that you can do in dungeons, some dungeons. But if you pull out the mirror during the fight, then you can, I guess, mirror like right after exiting the dungeon. Whereas ACM's gonna have to open up his menu and then mirror. And isn't there something about like you're more likely to like get a better menu or mirror if you already have it out versus like getting the menu out?
Well, yeah, because ACM's unlikely to pause on the first frame he exits, so it's like, you know, some human error there that Mike's not gonna have to deal with. Like, he just has to mirror. Really nice flute menu from ACM there. Da-da-da.
He is not going to be doing the setup in Ice Palace. I think he probably didn't learn that because it only saves a few frames. And ACM is not about saving a few frames.
Yeah, he's like allergic to frames.
If it saves 10 seconds, he'll do it. So there's a setup you can do in Ice Palace that's related to the new Meyer tech that we have. And basically, when you're jumping off a ledge after you flute to Link's house, and you flute, and you exit the screen before the bird comes, on the screen. Then I don't know what it does. Does some crazy magic things. So when you get into Ice Palace in the first room, you can actually kill the Freezor faster than you would normally. So you can actually kill him basically when he's like coming out of the wall versus having to wait for him to like be out of the wall. So it saves like, I don't even know how many frames. I've heard so many different things. It's less than 10, I'm pretty sure. Ooh, Mike throwing his rock into the wrong side of the water. But yeah, as Louis said, it does make the room easier, and it's really like not that difficult. Like your only setup is just fluting after you jump off the ledge and before you transition the screen.
Yeah.
And just making sure that the bird doesn't come on screen at all. And then, yeah, you can kind of play with when you need to shoot the fire rod in order to save some time in the first room in Ice Palace. But yeah, it's pretty simple little time save, I'd say. Even if it is only less than 10 frames.
We're not sure if Mike set it up or not, because we don't have his game audio up. Of course, it would be pretty disorienting if both of their game audios are playing at the same time.
Yes. Probably wouldn't even be able to hear myself think.
Yeah. But I'll know by his behavior in the first room if he set it up.
Oof. Getting off close that crab. But very nice pause buffer to save himself.
Yeah, you saw ACM having to walk. He walks up left out of the door, then walks up a little bit into that shot. He just has to wait for the Freezor to come out. Whereas Mike did have this set up, yeah. He was able to just shoot it immediately. And the fire rod sort of... The fire rod has this lingering AoE effect, like when it hits a wall or some other object. It like creates a fireball on the surface of it. And for whatever strange reason, this AoE effect can be displaced in weird and funny ways. But yeah, Mike was able to get it to where that AoE effect is what killed the Freezor.
Science.
Science! Let me push my glasses up the bridge of my nose here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear them being pushed all the way up. Alright, ACM getting his Ice Palace bomb jump. Does not pull out the hammer like you see most people do. Most people will pull out the hammer and hammer dash through the pots. ACM says, no, man, I don't need to do that. Mike buffering himself into place, but is able to get it. Oh, Mike getting a little close to those penguins.
Now ACM is... Oh no.
It's putting on a little skate show, a nice show.
ACM has actually had some cold stare troubles in a lot of his tournament races, so we'll see how this fight goes for him. We'll also see how it goes for Mike shortly. This fight is pretty tough, and cold stare is extremely deadly. The Puffs do 4 hearts of damage. The Ice does 2 hearts. The goal, of course, is to stun lock him in the corner, just like ACM did. That was a textbook fight.
Very nice. Oh no, Mike! Okay. Oh no, Mike! No, 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 no.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no!
darn. Oh, okay, so he slashed the wrong way, which it really messes up the whole fight for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, the puffs just got away, and he did his best, but unfortunately did not make it out of that fight alive. So what he's opting to do here now is to farm for magic. Your two options here basically to do what Mike's doing and farm for magic, or you can go straight to Swamp Palace and defeat that boss, because then you get a free magic refill plus an extra heart container that you can come back to ice afterwards and finish up. He got a small magic here, unfortunately. That's the best he's got so far, and he's just going to go back into Ice Palace and try again. He's going to have to farm magic in here, though, because he's going to need a full container for Cold Stare. Race isn't over yet, though. There's definitely a lot that can go wrong. If ACM dies to, like, Vitreous, for example, or that's Trinex. Also a pretty big time loss. Yeah. Or Trinex, yeah. So race is definitely not over. It's not over until somebody beats Ganon, basically. Literally anything could go wrong between now and then.
Mike still, he actually spun the penguins in the compass room, which was the south room in that block intersection thing, and still didn't get a drop. The penguins are in the magic prize pack, so he will be banking on a full magic drop in this, the last penguin room you go through.
Shoot. So, unfortunately, he dropped the bomb a little high, and I think he got a little bit frazzled by that, and so he didn't get this manipulation of the second Stalfos. And yeah, the bomb just didn't hit either of them. So he is now going to boomerang them to death, which is possible.
Yeah. And this does take a while, unfortunately.
Thankfully, these guys do drop bombs, though. So,
yeah.
Fingers crossed.
I think it's something like 48 hits, I want to say, on each one.
Oh, wow.
So...
Ooh, he's got to be careful not to get hit much more. Oh, hey. There you go. Alright, he's gonna bomb this one here, and, oh, never mind.
It died.
Got a 4-drop, though. Yeah. He got a 4-drop, though, so that was pretty lucky. Now he's got to be careful, though, because he only has 2.5 hearts. He's going to lose 1 here. Ugh. He's knowing where all these pots are with magic in them, and he's grabbing as many as he can. There we go. Now he's got a full one, so he's safe now. As far as magic goes.
Fingers crossed he makes it through this next Cold Stare fight. ACM, meanwhile, is trudging through Swamp Palace. He'll be headed over to the big key shortly.
Mike's gonna take a second crack at Cold Stare. That was not meant to be a joke, because he's cracking up in ice, but...
Wow.
He has to be careful, though. Anything, if he gets hit by anything, it'll kill him. Oof! Oof! Get out of there! Okay, we're good.
Yay!
While I see him making his way through Swamp Palace. Arguably one of the more boring Dark World dungeons. A lot of RNG though, and like people have said before, it's like the dungeon of 1,000 paper cuts or whatever, because it's like a lot of little things can go wrong and just lose you time, and then suddenly you're like, how did I lose 15 seconds in Swamp Palace? There's also a trick in this dungeon that ACM will not be going for. It's on the boss kill. They call it Zero Cycle. But yeah, essentially you just kill all the puffs before Argus does his his attack where he shoots his puffs out in a circle and they go back in. But ACM will not be going for that. Mike's having some trouble here on the overworld, getting hit by all these bomb guys.
Yeah, those bomb guys are pretty dang frustrating. They don't get in your way very often on that screen, but when they do, it's absolutely awful most of the time. ACM has taken down Argus.
Now he's in for the longest cutscene in the game. Oh, 55 seconds from Crystal Catch to Sword Up. So with the ACM finishing up Swamp Palace, he's going to go get Ether and Ice Rod, and then he's going to be setting up the new Mire tech. Hopefully, I hope he doesn't skip it. I think ACM, Christos, and Andy are the only top runners who do randomizer.
Mike actually does it some too, I think.
Yeah. I think some of them have tried it like, you know, once or twice or whatever. You used to play.
Yeah, I used to play, but I don't anymore.
But I know somebody like Zelda, it's not his thing, he has said before. So don't count on him trying randomizer.
I definitely wouldn't say most of the top runners do it. None of the 124 guys do it are better.
I think there's like 3 or 4 that do it. Well, 3 that do it regularly, right?
Yeah.
If you consider Chris a top runner and Andy a top runner. I don't know what you would define as top runner. Even.
Is Chris? I don't think Chris is even top 20. That might be iffy. Sorry, Christos. You're my boy and everything, but you're bad.
Yeah, rip me. My PB is much better than Chris's. It's okay, Chris knows he's a numpty. If I know Christos, he probably would have laughed at that.
Yeah, he definitely would have.
And probably would have shot back with something just as mean about you.
Yeah, me and Chris give each other a lot of crap.
Chris actually gets excited when we commentate his race because he like wants us to dumpster on him. He's like, yes. Say whatever you need to say.
ACM with a 105.35 torches. This actually be a casual 125 from him, which I'm sure he would be very pleased to get in a tournament race.
Mike went for the zero cycle Argus there. Unfortunately, he got hit and dropped it. So Argus did the attack without any puffs, but yeah. But he got the fire rod shots off, so that's nice.
Yeah, yeah. The fire rod kill is pretty cool. I was gonna say there actually haven't been that many 125s in this tournament. I've done it twice. Joe has done it, and Gerdo has done it, and I think that's it. So, ACM getting one would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool. Especially considering, you know, his PB is a 125, so getting that close to your PB in a tourney race, no less, is pretty good.
So we have the Meyer Tech coming up very shortly. He's going to do this specific thing where he dashes right before placing this cane block. That'll just keep the variable stored in memory that he wants. And then you're going to see some funky fire rod stuff coming up, where he's going to seemingly hit switches that are a mile away from where he shot. Like there, he hit the switch that's in the top part of the room, which you need to do to get much progress into this room. Here he actually hits a switch that's in the room above him, and then here he's also going to hit a switch that's up at the top of the room.
ACM with the in-chat spoilers. Yeah, so that tech is pretty cool. Was found a few weeks ago. It started out with saving like 3 seconds, and it was like frame perfect, and it like relied on like frame rules or something stupid, and then it slowly evolved into being a very easy setup and pretty consistent, and saving closer to 10 or 11 seconds. So it's definitely evolved quite a bit over the few days that people were discovering it.
Most definitely. Looks like Mike indeed is going for the new Meyer Tech, since he lifted that rock from below. That's the thing that really sets up the displacement of the fire rod's AoE effect. Allows you to hit things that are that you're not actually hitting directly. It's pretty silly trick. They're definitely on the same route right now. Like, Mike's gonna do Meyer, and then he's gonna go straight to Turtle Rock, which is what ACM's doing now. They're using the same route and everything. Which is typically how NMG goes. We know where all the items are.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see a bit of divergence, but not much. The biggest I think you would see is people do Ether and Ice Rod in a different spot than what is optimal. And if you're getting Gold Sword and Silver Arrows, then you switch Mire and Swamp, like the order that you do those dungeons. But other than that, the route divergence is not. There's like really none. So
yeah.
Unless you're getting other safeties, then of course you have to go out of your way to get those. But like Powder is probably the most common one.
So here's going to be an area where ACM takes the safer strat in the roller room north of this room. The fast way to do this is to come back down through the room after getting this key and do a damage boost through the rollers, but ACM's just going to mirror, loses a few seconds.
Yeah, after he learned the Mire tech, I was like, oh wow, I can't believe you're learning this. And he's like, well, it saves 10 seconds. And I was like, so when are you learning Turtle Rock Roller Room? And he goes, but that only saves 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We'll learn Turtle Rock Rollers, but it's all for those 10-second time saves, I guess.
Uh-oh,
Chomps.
he's in trouble here.
Chomps being chomps. Alright, we'll see here too if Mike is gonna set up this Mire tech. I actually missed when he entered Mire.
He, yeah, he went for the, oh no. Luckily he has the backup.
This is another thing that ACM does differently. He doesn't spin the pokies, he fire rods them. So you'll see that here for Pokey 1 and then also in Pokey 2. That's just another safe and consistent thing that ACM likes to do. Pokey 1 doesn't really have like too much variance. There's 4 different RNGs and none of them are like, one of them's maybe like harder, but they're not like super difficult. So but Pokey 2 definitely is one where I can understand a little bit more why he would want to use the fire rod, because that one, Pokey 2 where he is right now, has 16 different RNGs and it can be difficult to learn all of them and execute them well enough to save time.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in learning any of those RNGs, Blunt Bunny has a bit of a tutorial video, I guess, where he shows the different RNGs and what's best to do for them. So you could check that out. I think it's on his YouTube channel. Right, and you see him now coming up on the laser skip. And he walks this, which is the craziest thing. Usually people will dash that, which I think makes it easier, but yeah.
ACM going to be safe, fighting Trinix from the front. A little faster to do it from behind. And that's actually one of the problems with fighting him from the front, is getting that ice on the floor. Really lags the fight a lot. And he also ended up getting a two cycle. Oh, Mike
is blocked. Just gonna keep on bonking. Get out. Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, when the ice gets on the floor like that, people like to call it NHL 94. Get transported into a whole other game when that happens.
Shout out to NHL 94.
It's a good game. Charge. I love how how slow the da, 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 da,
yeah, I
is
love
in that
that
game.
too.
It's
Yeah.
it takes years to get through that song.
Dun, 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 dun.
One time, I think I may have told you this, but I fell asleep with Joe's stream on, and Joe's been known to just let the computer play NHL 94, and he'll just leave his stream on and just let them play. And I fell asleep watching his stream once, and I woke up at 4 in the morning or something, and all I could hear was the cheering and from the game, and I was so confused as to what it was. I was like, what the heck is that? And I was getting freaked out. And then I rolled over and I noticed that the stream was still on and it was an HL 94, and I started to hear the music from it, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's all that was. When you wake up in the middle of the night hearing cheering and not knowing where it's coming from, it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a little bit of trouble here, but he's okay. Mike spinning Pokey one, like we were talking about earlier. Hastim uses the fire rod there, but Mike does the spin strategy, and yeah, not really that difficult, honestly, and a bit faster.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh, oh no, Mike getting hit by Pokey too.
He got the best RNG too.
Yeah, entered the room backwards. It looked like. ACM losing, oh no, all the magic on the way down into Ice Armos. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. He'll have trouble making up all that magic to fight Lamulus and then do the torches room correctly.
Mike having some trouble here. He's down to 2 hearts. He has to be careful because I think anything in the dungeon now can kill him. I don't know that there's anything that'll only do 1 heart at this point. Oh, except the fire rod, or the fire bars. Of course. I say that as he's in a room of things full of stuff that'll do 1 heart of damage. You know what, Ash? Ooh. Okay, he's good.
Whew.
Alright, yeah, Mike's gonna have to be pretty careful on Trinex here. Hopefully he won't have any trouble. He's gonna do the backdoor strategy, which hopefully will be a little bit safer for him. Get out. Okay. Alright, he's good. Oof, ACM's getting beat up here in Gauntlet 5. Nice land low too.
Yeah.
I believe this is round 3.
Yeah, round 3 of the brackets, top 16. Competition is pretty crazy in this round. I think just about everyone in it has a 126 or better.
Yeah, it's definitely getting very competitive. I think we only have a few races left also in this round. We still have TJH versus Void, Blunt Bunny versus Walrus Prime, and our very own Josh RTA versus Kaznode.
Whoa.
Whoa. ACM having a good second phase of Agatu. Looks like it might be 4 cycle?
Yes,
Yeah.
cycle 4.
Now he's gonna fight Ganon.
Whoa!
Whoa. And ACM, I don't know how he does it, but in the Ganon fight, we do this thing called Trident Spin, which gives us a couple extra hits on Ganon in the beginning to just make it easier to get the 1-in-1, which is 1 cycle on the first phase and 1 cycle on the second phase. ACM just slashes his heart away and somehow still gets the 1-in-1. And I will never understand how he does it.
And he's got it.
I guess he does a slash at the end and I never realized, but... Yeah, ACM
He's unfortunately going to miss that first hit in the third phase.
Ooh.
And the second hit as well.
Yeah, he's got to be careful though, because anything can kill him here. I think. I can't remember how much the bats do. 3?
The bats in this phase do 2.
Oh.
So you could survive them. They sometimes reflect you at weird angles though and can like knock you off the edge or something, so... Unfortunately, I think those phase 3 mistakes might have been too much for him to get a 125 still. We'll see.
Yeah, I think, I mean, his G-Tower was a little bit rough as well for his, for him anyway. So yeah, but still getting a 126 is very good. GG ACM. Actually, interestingly enough, I don't think we're gonna get an interview from either of our racers.
No, both are more of the no mic types.
Except Mike, because he is Mike.
Wow. I'm gonna pretend you just didn't say that.
Whatever, man.
Mike, unfortunately, having a 3-cycle land mode too.
Oh yeah, I guess we can do an in-chat interview. ACM, how do you feel about your run? Then we'll give him 20 seconds to answer.
Oh no, Mike missing. But showing a good backup though. That was
that
impressive.
was really good. Using that pause buffer there to check whether or not he's going to get hit by any of those Trident guys. Pretty good backup, or pretty good buffer. Yo, GG on race PB ACM.
Ooh, Mike smartly waiting before going up the stairs. Definitely almost got the glitch. Or could have gotten the glitch if he had continued upstairs, where all the sprites against her despawn. And there's... oh no.
Okay. So yeah, he just missed the hole, bombing up the hole there, bombing up the hole, blowing up the hole.
Yeah, there you
Probably
go.
a better way of saying it. So yeah, I had to go back for another bomb, unfortunately. Alright, let's see how Aga 2 treats Mike.
This fight has a couple weird mechanics that make it kind of annoying sometimes, actually. If you hit him with 2 attacks at the same time, it'll often only count as 1.
Ooh, jeez. Having a rough time here.
Yeah.
Getting a bit unlucky too. You got a blue ball in the second phase. So yeah, just when you thought blue balls were over, guess what? They come back at the end of the game too.
Yeah.
Although they don't matter as much as the earlier ones.
Oh no, Mike.
Yeah. In a sticky situation, but after this phase, as long as he survives this, should be fine. Yeah, we're good.
Looks like he's good. He needs to avoid any of these fire rings, though.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, he should be good now. The fire bats in the fourth phase can actually still kill him, as can touching Ganon at all. But that's usually not going to be a problem for a 125 player.
Oh, I feel like he's having so many close calls.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's just like the stream we're watching. GG to Mike. Unfortunately, that does end his time in the tournament, but he has definitely put on a lot of good races during this tournament. So, GG to Mike. And yeah. He definitely kept this race close to until that unfortunate death to Cold Stare, so
Yeah.
we had a very interesting race for the most part. So now, I guess ACM will go on to defeat, well, get a little ahead of myself there. We'll go on to race the winner of Blunt Bunny versus Walrus Prime. Blunt Bunny having a 124, and Walrus, I think, currently has a 127.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And their race is happening on Thursday at 9 p.m. So make sure you check that one out. We've also got Void versus TGH tomorrow at 8 p.m. with Runner Watcher on commentary.
Whoa.
And then Thursday at 6 p.m. we have Josh RTA versus Kaznode with myself and Yuda on commentary. And then, like I said, Blunt and Walrus Prime will be after that with Oglib and Scrivo on commentary. So yeah, a lot of big races coming up. Very exciting ones for sure. Keep an eye out. Make sure you tune in and watch those. So I guess, I don't know, what's coming up next on this channel is what I'd like to know. Oh, so that's everything for this channel, it looks like. And on every other channel is Randomizer. Link to the Past Randomizer.
Whoa!
On Speed Gaming, Speed Gaming 2, and Speed Gaming 4. Looks like there's Randomizer on all those channels. So if you like Randomizer, link to Past Randomizer, you could go to like pretty much every other channel and watch a Randomizer. But yeah, I think, I guess with neither of these two coming in to join us for an interview, I guess that does it for us. Make sure that you tune in for the rest of the races during the rest of this tournament. There's a few more this week that we've already said. You can always check out the schedule if you're unsure, need to double check. But yeah, from here on out, the races are going to be very close and very exciting. So yeah, stay tuned for those. But thank you everybody for watching, and thank you to our racers today for the exciting race. And thank you, Josh, for joining me on commentary tonight.
No problem. It was really fun. Thank you as well for commentating. It was a good time.
For sure. Good night, all.
Good night.